Hey there, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a seriously important guide from Built to Thrive called Clarify Ownership, Decisions, and Responsibility Early. Now, if you are an early stage Canadian small business owner, and especially if you're starting to work with helpers, partners, family members, contractors, advisors, investors, or really any possible shareholders, well, this is built exactly for you. Just a quick heads up before we jump in, while we're covering essential business hygiene today, this is not legal, tax, accounting, partnership, governance, or registration advice, okay? Keep things practical, keep them calm. All right, let's get into it. So just to orient ourselves and see where we are in the bigger picture, this guide is part of Built Thrive's formation and structure domain. Specifically, it sits right in the practice layer of the Set Up Your Structure path. Now, this is actually the second practice guide in this path. The first guide helped owners identify their basic setup path, right? But this one gets into the really practical stuff. It helps clarify who owns, who decides, who signs, and ultimately, who carries the responsibility. And that brings us to our core message for today, which really boils down to this. A business needs to know who owns, who decides, and who is responsible before informal assumptions become problems. Think about it. How often does a friendly, totally casual handshake agreement turn into a massive headache down the road? Getting things clear right now stops operational friction and strained relationships before they even have a chance to start. Okay, let's break this down into steps. Step 1 is to identify who is actually involved. And we really need to draw a strict boundary here, because a person can absolutely help, advise, contract, invest, or contribute to your business without automatically being an owner. That leads right into step 2. Clarify ownership before activity expands. You simply cannot leave ownership vague. It's an absolute must to figure this out, especially when money, physical assets, clients, labor, or future expectations are part of the equation. Once you know who owns what, we move to step 3. Clarify who can make decisions. You have to understand the difference between routine, everyday decisions and major direction-shifting decisions, and exactly why that authority needs to be crystal clear. Which takes us straight to step 4. Clarify who can actually sign or commit the business to things. Signing agreements, accepting terms, borrowing money, leasing equipment, or making big commitments. All of these actions create lasting responsibility for the business. You've got to know whose signature actually binds the company. Moving right along to step 5. You need to separate your owners from your helpers, contractors, and advisors. Because when those roles get blurred, it creates a ton of confusion about control, payment, authority, and ownership. Step 6 is knowing when written agreements might actually be needed. We're talking about partnerships, bringing on shareholders, contractors, handling contributions, shared decision-making, or even what happens if someone wants to exit. Get it in writing. And finally, step 7, revisit responsibility as the business changes. You can't just set this and forget it. Whenever your business incorporates, adds owners, signs larger contracts, hires people, expands, or takes on more risk, you absolutely have to review who sits where. Now, to help you actually put all of this into practice, we highly recommend grabbing the matching tool, the Ownership and Decision Responsibility Map. It is fantastic for laying this all out visually. Also, if you're looking to dive a bit deeper into the specifics, check out our related explainer called Shareholders, Directors, and Officers Explained Simply. And as a quick reminder, this is the second practice guide in Set Up Your Structure. The next guide in the path that you'll want to check out is Set the Boundaries that Match Your Structure. I want to leave you with this one final, really crucial thought. A business does not become stronger by leaving ownership and responsibility vague. Clear roles reduce confusion before pressure appears. Seriously, ask yourself right now, if your business suddenly took off and doubled in size tomorrow, would your current informal agreements hold up, or would they tear the whole thing apart? Get those boundaries clear today. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, and I'll see you in the next explainer.